everyone. Welcome back to NYDOI Mechanical Garage. Happy belated Thanksgiving. Today is a nice, rainy, cold, miserable day in the upstate Hudson Valley, New York area. So why not get some side work done? Today we're working on a 2008 Suzuki Reno, aka a Daewoo Lanza. Oh no, I'm sorry, Lanos. Excuse me, a Daewoo Lanos. So I don't know if a lot of you individuals out there ever heard of the Daewoo car company, but it was pretty much a cheaper GM vehicle that they put out. Korean, pretty much backed, Korean car, but backed by GM because it had GM engines and drivetrain. So Daewoo was out for a hot second, then went out. They had a bunch of lines, four-door sedans, the Laganza, and in this case they had the Lanos, which is the small hatchback car. Eventually this chassis design got sold to Suzuki, but yet they still use Daewoo parts, because if you look right down there, right over here, there's actually a Daewoo number, and there's a Daewoo insignia someplace. I just can't quite find it right now. Oh, here we are, Daewoo. GM Daewoo right there. I don't know if you can see it. I'm wearing my head cam. But yeah, so today we're working on this. It's a 2008. It's a whopping 2-liter, 125 horsepower, fierce, ripping, pavement tearing power. But today we're going to do a thermostat on it. Now, car came in with a check engine light in regards to open loop and closed loop. I don't know if you know what that is. So pretty much when the car heats up, the car is not properly heating up because the thermostat is stuck wide open. Customer complained of not having great heat, drove the car, and the needle is literally on the C, on the cold, and the heat is absolutely horrible. Once you get going at a high rev, heat starts to come out of the vents. We are full on our antifreeze, but there is a known thing. These cars do have thermostat issues. So bad that the owner bought multiple thermostats because it's a common problem. This one happened to be bought off of eBay. The design of this thermostat is as follows. It's actually one piece. It's actually one piece. You get a O-ring style gasket along with the thermostat in the actual housing, as you can see. So for some reason, just a horrible design. This is like I think the second one I put in this car. Yeah, so he's got to pass inspection because the check engine light's on for emissions related, because the car cannot go into closed loop when it heats up. So we got to replace the thermostat. So we're going to go over replacing the thermostat today on a 2008 Suzuki Reno. This goes for a lot of 2-liter Suzuki motors. So what you're going to need is the thermostat housing itself with the thermostat. Depending on technique and whatever you feel comfortable with, you're going to need a set of ratchets, some extensions, and inverted Torx. So this is an E10 inverted Torx socket, because you're dealing with the inverted Torx bolts right here, as you can see, right there. So first we're going to drain the antifreeze, which the petcock is on the bottom. We're going to drain the antifreeze and start to remove the hose, the upper hose, and then the thermostat itself. Is a really, really simple job. It shouldn't take you, even working on the ground in your own garage or outside, it shouldn't take you more than 30 minutes, honestly. We're in a garage, heated garage, which is nice, on the lifts, which is going to help out nicely. But let me raise the car up, show you where the petcock is, and we'll drain the antifreeze. All right, everyone. Okay, the car's up on the lift now, as you can see. The drain cock is on the bottom of the radiator on the right-hand side. So it's going to be on the passenger side, lower area. You can see the drain cock right here, okay? And the drain is right over here. It's going to come out. We got our drain pan on the floor right here. So we're going to turn this, loosen it up, and antifreeze should be coming right out. At least I hope it does. Well, that's nasty. There we go. Antifreeze is coming out. We're going to drain, so we're going to lower it down right now and drain it up. Okay, so now we're at the point we need to take the upper hose off of the thermostat housing. So there's a few ways you can do it. These are spring clamps. Now spring clamps are kind of a pain in the ass because they are spring steel. Now you can use a regular, you can replace it with a hose clamp. The good thing about a spring clamp is that it actually puts equal pressure around the hose, so you have a good, nice, tight seal. The bad part is that getting them off. Now you can use a few. You can use a few things. You can use spring clamp removers. Okay, which is a tool right here, which grabs each of the tabs and squeezes it. You can get a set of regular pliers, adjust them outwards to really get a good grip on them. Or you can use a pair of channel locks. But when you do a pair of channel locks, the problem is that you just can't get in there sometimes. See, I can go this way, but it's gonna be a pain in the butt. I'm gonna try using these first because I absolutely love these tools. They work phenomenal, and they get into tight areas as well. You squeeze. It's making a fool out of me. Hold on. Okay. Oh, this is making a big fool out of me. Alright, so in this case I can't use these. Oh man, that stinks. You know what I can do? I can remove the top inverted bolt, which is 10 millimeter. That should help me out a little bit. Maybe not, making a fool out of me. Alright, looks like I have to use channel locks. Alright, we'll use channel locks. My fancy compressors, spring clamp compressors, didn't want to work for me. So, but yeah, there we go. So you can use the spring clamps or these. The reason I don't like using channel locks or pliers in these spring clamps is that once they fall out, they kind of like, once they snap off the actual spring clamp itself, it can be kind of dangerous. So I'm not really a fan of them. But in this case, I had to use them. Now, again, with spring clamps, it really puts a lot of pressure, even pressure all the way around the hose. So what we can do is get a 90-degree pick, something like this, or a angled pick, a bigger one. Now when you use these, be careful you don't roll it under the hose to actually pinch it and go through it. So all this is for is just to loosen the hose up. Now it doesn't help that it's cold, so the rubber is not as pliable, but it's just enough just to break the seal, because with aluminum it's going to kind of corrode and, you know, make things a little bit harder to get off. And that corrosion can actually create a seal, a hardened seal, and make it difficult to take the hose off. So let's get this hose off the water neck. Looks like this thermostat is actually closed. Look at that. I hate antifreeze. Antifreeze is so annoying. Alright, we can put this guy right here for now. Alright, so what we got to do is remove the inverted Torx up top and an inverted Torx on the bottom right here. Well, hopefully you can see it with my head cam thing. Doing this in real time for you, so you can see everything, how I'm doing things. Antifreeze is still draining on the bottom. Getting it everywhere, of course. Look at that. Oh, God. Hate when things are a mess. Very annoying. So this is where you're going to need your inverted Torx. It's going to be an M10. Use a 3/8 or 1/4 inch, whatever's easier for you, whatever technique or style you want to do. Loosen the top and get the bottom. You can use an air ratchet to remove it, or electric ratchet, it's up to you. But since there's no need to go crazy It's in a decent spot. I have room to swing the ratchet around and so forth. We get a fender cover. Practice as I play. Bottom nut is out, or bolt I should say, bottom bolt is out. Top one's coming out right now. And there it is. And here's the bad thermostat. Oh, look at that. There's our issue. There's our issue. The rubber seal on the thermostat is busted. I don't know if you can see it. Hopefully you can. Actually right in there, this ripped seal. Right there. See it? Hopefully you can see it. So that's why it's not heating up correctly. Look at that, huh? Hope you can see it with the camera. So that's that. Now the new one doesn't really have a rubber seal, a rubber seating seal. So it's kind of odd. But there's a problem right there. See? Seal broke, so this one just happened to be designed with a seal. This one doesn't. Whatever, no big deal. But we're replacing it, so not the end of the world. Okay. Now, it's time to put the O-ring on the actual thermostat housing. Now, there are a few ways you can do this. It's a formed O-ring, so it's actually supposed to go in this little indentation here, or this machined or molded part when this piece was made. Now, when trying to put this seal on, it's going to be very difficult, because if I want to put it up against a mating surface, the gasket's just going to do that. So what you can do is either get some silicone, okay, or you can get some grease. In this case, I have a little small tub of grease right here. What you can do is, I'm probably going to get beat up a little bit online, but you know, the grease can contaminate the cooled system. I don't think so. I never had a problem. I've been doing it with silicone and grease for a long time now, and I've never had a problem with it. So what you can do is put the O-ring on there with being held in by grease, or you can actually use weather stripping sealer too. You know, works just as good. And now it holds the seal on there. So neat little trick. We'll put a little grease on the rubber and that's it. So that's it. You don't need a lot, because this is going to get squished anyway. So put that down. Now next what we're going to do is take the bolts, blow these off. Call me crazy, a little bit of never sees. Never sees on them. Okay. It's always good to put never sees on steel parts that go into aluminum, unless you're told otherwise by instructions. I put never sees on this once before, so just to make sure they come out. Steel bolts with aluminum head, you don't want to fuck around and have them get seized in there. So, but now we're going to put the thermostat housing back up against the cylinder head. So here we go. Just make sure the gasket's still on there. We don't want to mess anything up. Be very, very careful when reinstalling this, because again, you don't want the gasket to go sideways on you. And you don't want a problem like that. So kind of get the bolts lined up, screwed in. Put the bottom bolt in. Hand. I have to screw it in with the socket. Hopefully you can see all this with this head cam. I just got not a head cam, but like a strap I bought for the camera. Hope you can see it all. Now you can torque this down or just tighten it up by hand. Tight is tight, too tight is broken. Either it's feel. You could torque them, be my guest, but I didn't torque the one last time. So just tight. But not too tight. Don't go crazy. You just want enough just to compress the O-ring gasket so it seals. Nothing too crazy and tight. You don't want to crack the housing. Housing looks pretty robust, so I don't really think will be an issue, but looks pretty flush against the block. I don't really see any issues. Hopefully you can see what I'm seeing. Yeah, we're all good. Okay, so now we'll put the upper hose back on. I'd use my fancy tool, but I made a fool out of myself, so I'll just use the regular channel lock with the spring clamp. On there. Okay, we're all good. Let me tighten up the petcock down here. I can get to it by hand. Turn it just until it seats. I replaced the radiator in this thing probably about 5 years ago, so everything's relatively brand new. But a quick trick. If you have an issue in regards of getting a petcock open or closed, depending on what kind of petcock it is, I don't have the socket here anymore, but what you can do is get a socket and just cut a line in it with a whiz wheel, and it will slide right over the petcock. Do I have it here? Oh, I guess I don't have it. Oh, here it is, right here. See, the petcock will go right in there, and it will grab it, and you can actually turn it. So, almost like, here's a drain cock. This will go right in. You can turn it like that. Just an idea. I like making cool tools like that because it makes your life a lot easier. So that's that. Alright, our drain plug is tight. Upper hose is on. All we got to do is put fluid, antifreeze in the coolant tank, and that's pretty much it. So I want to thank everybody for watching NY DIY Mechanical Garage this episode for the 2008 Suzuki Reno thermostat replacement, thermostat housing and thermostat replacement. If you have any further questions, reach out to me at nydiy22@gmail.com. Please subscribe and like to the channel. I'm trying to grow it a little bit. There are a few guys in upstate New York that are doing cool things, so I do a lot of neat and cool projects, so why not, contribute to the YouTube society as well. We have future projects coming up. I got the Sinister C7. I still have to finish my Vespa project that I've been working on, doing a full pretty much engine rebuild. As you can see, cylinder just came back from the machine shop, head got machined, so that's going to be some future stuff as well. But yeah, also prepare for the next episode on the same car because I'm going to be doing front brakes on it as well. So talk to you guys soon. Be safe.